Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. A heartbroken family has paid tribute to a Tasmanian mother killed after being struck by a car in Campania on Monday. The community rallying to raise funds for her 4 children as a 38-year-old man faced court charged with murder.
Taken too soon, Jackie Purton remembered as a beautiful woman by those who knew and loved her. Her family expressing their grief at the sudden loss of the mother of 4 who died from serious injuries after allegedly being struck by a car on a property in Native Corners Road in the early hours of Monday morning. Now left grappling with the costs of her funeral, her sister Zoe has launched a GoFundMe page to cover the expenses, saying anyone who knew Jackie knew how loving and caring her soul was. If the shoe was on the other foot, Jackie would do anything for anyone. Her father, Scott, now left without his firstborn, taking to social media to say, "My family's hearts have been ripped apart in a tragic day for us. Jackie, you will always be loved and remembered." The tributes come as the man charged over the alleged murder fronted the Hobart Magistrates Court. James Austin appearing in person today with an application made for adjournment without plea. Supporters of Mr Austin sat in court as the matter was heard and shouted out to him as he was led away. The 38-year-old has been remanded in custody and will reappear before the Chief Magistrate on March 27. Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
A man charged with the murder of a prison hospital escapee has pleaded not guilty in the Hobart Magistrates Court and will now stand trial. David Coles is one of 3 men accused of murdering Nicholas Scott in Granton earlier this year after he escaped guards at the Royal Hobart Hospital. The Collinsvale resident appeared via video link this morning with the matter adjourned to the Supreme Court. The 44-year-old has been remanded in custody until June 14. And Chopper Reed's son has returned to court on a string of charges. Charlie Reed appeared via video link facing a number of alleged offences, including evading police, possessing an unregistered gun and minor drug selling. The matter has been adjourned without plea and he will remain in custody to reappear in court on April 14. There's chaos in the national energy market interstate with expected price rises of 15 to 30% announced. It's causing concerns over prices here in Tasmania, with growing calls for relief now.
In the volatile national energy market, the shockwaves keep coming. Mainland households and businesses to be hit with price increases of more than 15% from July 1.
Australians know very well that energy prices are going up and going up around the world.
We should be very worried about the impacts on people on the lowest incomes who already are just simply unable to cover the costs of the essentials.
Victorians, the latest to be slapped with a steep rise. Their bills will go up by more than 30%, an average of $400 per year.
Well, we have our own process and our own regulator when it comes to the price increases or decreases.
It's still unclear what will happen to prices here in Tasmania, to be announced in June.
Tasmanian wholesale market is highly linked by about 80% to Victorian prices.
Energy consultant Mark White says he's hoping rises will be limited to between 5 and 15%.
Hydro storages are healthy at the moment, I think almost 10% above the prudent storage level for this time of year, so that should be playing a subduing role in pricing.
Tasmanian households and businesses are already feeling the pinch from a near 12% rise last year. A potential second one of that magnitude has the opposition restarting their calls for financial support.
I'm staggered that the government won't just do what it promised. The government promised that it would cap power prices if there was volatility within the national electricity market.
We have demonstrated that we will always look and see ways that we can support Tasmanians.
Having already intervened in the market, the Federal Energy Minister is promising help.
Direct relief is exactly what will be in the budget.
Some cover from when the storm comes in July. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The Commissioner for Children and Young People has criticised a concerning lack of transparency in the state's out-of-home care system. In her second monitoring report, Commissioner Leanne McLean said she was unable to examine many problems due to key markers not being recorded or departmental delays in providing figures.
We're not able, through data, to say this is how we visit children, this is how we make sure they are okay, and this is how we have a plan in place for every child.
The report today is my understanding there are areas we've improved upon, and there are areas, of course, where we need greater emphasis, and that is what we're committed to as well.
The data available did show 40% of children in care did not have a current case and care plan, breaking a national standard. The Greens are calling for pill testing to be introduced in Tasmania after Queensland gave it the green light. The party says Tasmanian party and festival goers would benefit from knowing what's in their drugs.
Keep it safe, keep the education high, and it will lead to a safer and better experience.
The state government has repeatedly ruled out supporting pill testing. Attorney General Elise Archer is saying there is no safe use of any illicit drug. Bonorong Zoo is reaping the rewards of cruise ships returning to Hobart. Tourists aboard the MSC Magnifica were given a tour of the beloved wildlife sanctuary as part of their cruise package. The increased foot traffic keeping staff on their feet in the best way possible.
We've got staff here that haven't experienced a day like this before. So, as it's slowly picked up, we'd expect 4 or 5 coaches a day in summer, but on a day like today where we might see, 30 or 40 coaches on a really busy day, that's absolutely fantastic.
Visitation dropped to 25% during COVID, but is now sitting around the 60% mark. Bonorong says it will take a normal cruise schedule for business to make it back to pre-COVID levels. Students across the nation have completed their first day of NAPLAN testing. 2023 brought change for the National Assessment Program, moved earlier in the year by 2 months.
Students and parents and teachers will have access to that information earlier, and the interventions would be able to be provided earlier.
Students are tested for proficiency in reading, writing, language and mathematics. Mental health services in southern Tasmania have been given a boost with the long-awaited opening of the Peacock Centre. It's been a long road for the facility after the building was targeted in 2 separate arson attacks in 5 years.
Flames tear through a much-loved local landmark, lighting up the night sky in a cruel Christmas Eve inferno almost 18 months ago. Rising from the ashes, the Peacock Centre offering modern treatment for mental illness.
It's unimaginable, really, the change in the place. It's a beautiful setting.
Combining a range of services, an integrated mental health hub brings community services into one place, with a safe haven supporting patients in suicidal distress. All alongside a 12-bed short-stay unit offering specialist inpatient treatment.
So they're really helping people get the right help at the right time in the community.
An on-site classroom will also help give those in recovery the tools they need to improve their well-being.
It's an incredibly significant day. It really marks a significant change in how we deliver mental health services in Tasmania.
It's all aimed at helping some of our most vulnerable to avoid our overstretched hospital system. From resources to room design, project architects consulted those with lived experience in the development.
Thinking through from start to finish the experience of what people will have.
Their voice in this redevelopment is well and truly present, so we can provide the most modern and contemporary care across the nation.
The Peacock Centre will be up and running from next week. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
Travellers from Launceston to Melbourne are currently enduring a 6-hour delay after a piece of safety equipment went missing from a previous flight. Part of an exit sign has disappeared. Virgin believes it was broken. Some passengers say they were told it was stolen. The grounded Virgin plane was meant to leave at 4:15 but isn't expected to fly out until around 10:30. Well, theatre lovers are being urged not to miss the bus, with Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, rolling into Launceston's Princess Theatre from tomorrow. A cast of 30 has spent months rehearsing for the musical.
It's been a long one. It's very, very challenging. It's not out of my comfort zone, but trying to learn a new character like this takes a lot.
It takes more than a dozen colourful costume changes for each actor to bring the Oscar-winning movie onto the stage.
So we see everything from some kangaroos to some koalas, as well as some other iconic Australiana elements.
7,000 tickets have already been sold for the 3-week run. And a puppetry program 2 years in the making has embarked on a statewide tour to improve the wellbeing of people living with dementia. Tasmanian theatre company Terrapin says it's the first of its kind in Australia and is now calling for more support to take it across the nation.
Bringing light and laughter to those who need it most. Terrapin's Forever Young pilot program putting on a unique puppetry performance for Tasmanians living with dementia.
Well, there's nothing like this in Tasmania, and there's also nothing really like this in Australia in regards to taking this sort of performing arts experience into aged care settings.
The show using nostalgic characters Punch and Judy to evoke strong memories.
Come here and give me a smooch.
Things like the end of the Second World War, the moon landing, these events which happened in their lifetime that really changed the world.
And it's not just our older generations getting involved. Glenorchy Primary School students invited to sit in on the fun.
Who'd like an ice cream?
Often when we see children coming into aged care services, in particular in dementia units, we see our residents change fundamentally in terms of their mood and their behaviours.
The performers will be on the road for 6 weeks, taking their production to One Care and uniting aged well facilities across the state. Bedside visits also available for residents unable to participate in group activities.
Our performers are trained to observe their behaviours and provide a really unique therapeutic experience.
Their tour funded by a range of partners, including the Tasmanian Community Fund, and if all goes well, will become an annual and national phenomena. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Launceston residents are being encouraged to use pedal power this Sunday with the first ever bike fest set to take over the city streets. Running alongside World Street Eats and Harmony Day celebrations, the event hopes to spin up interest in cycling.
We're really encouraging people to bring their bikes and enjoy riding in the carefree environment in the city. And as part of Bike Fest, we've got a whole range of great activities for people to get involved in, on and off the bike.
We also want to ensure that Launceston is a city that encourages cycling, and this is a great initiative and a great introduction to that.
Cameron Street from Civic Square to City Park will be closed to vehicles during the event. Meanwhile, 10 kilometres of mountain biking tracks have been opened on Canunny Mount Wellington after 4 years of hard work. The 2 new trails filling a major gap in Hobart's riding market.
We have some harder tracks, some more difficult blue tracks and so forth on the mountain, but these green tracks are really built for young families, kids who are starting out.
This is just a bit smoother, so with her on the front seat, she doesn't absorb the shocks as much as I can with my arms and legs, so having something a little bit smoother on the downhill is really nice.
It's part of the Hobart City Council's 10-year Riding the Mountain plan, giving tourists more options to explore the mountain's beauty.
Bo Webster has smashed his first century this Sheffield Shield season to put Queensland under enormous pressure at Blunston Arena. After passing the century mark, the right-hander dug in for another 50 runs.
There's Webster. Look at that for a shot off the back foot. That's going to go to the rope for 4. That's one of the best of the morning.
He eventually finished unbeaten on 168. Bowler Jared Freeman also kept his wicket, ending the innings on 63 not out. And Webster followed up with 2 for 26 with the ball as the Bulls struggled their way to 6 for 180 at stumps. Queensland has plenty to play for, fighting for a spot in the Shield final. Tasmania has a new national champion. Launceston's Sam McKee burst from the outside of the velodrome to snatch gold in the national under-19 scratch race in Brisbane. Fellow Tasmanian Alex Eves finished in 6th. If the injury curse strikes again this season, the Launceston Tornadoes feel like they have a solution. American import Riley Lupfer has signed up as a shooting guard, a position which the Tawns struggled to fill when their injury list exploded late last season. The 24-year-old was born in Washington State and played for an Idaho college before coming to Launceston, where there's at least one tourist attraction on the list.
I hear there's monkeys somewhere.
Most of the roles I played throughout every team was shoot it, create.
She's a scorer, so that's why she's here. She's also a really good defensive player, great passer.
And Burnie's college basketball star Trey Armstrong is heading home for the NBL1 season. He's returning to the Northwest Thunder after another strong showing for California Baptist University. And how about this debut? UTAS's women's basketball team nearly doubled their opponent's score in their first outing in the National University Basketball League. The locals beat Ballarat 81-44 overnight. They lost by the narrowest of margins today, 66-65 against Victoria University. The men couldn't back up yesterday's win either, beaten in another close one, 4 points the margin. Tasmanian Jack Welsh made his moment count against Germany, turning a penalty into the Kookaburra's second goal of the night in the Pro League.
And this time, absolute beauty of a flick from Welsh.
The goal was Welsh's 9th at international level. The Kookaburras went on to win 2-1. The Aussies will take on India tonight, wrapping up a block of games which also saw Hobart's Hayden Belt's debut for the national side and his brother Josh score against India earlier in the week. Players from Dodgers Ferry, Longford and the Northwest Coast will make up the Tassie Devils boys team, along with those from State League clubs. The 41-person squad unveiled today includes many former teammates of Lockie Cowan who will debut for Carlton tomorrow night in front of nearly 100,000 people.
I'm sure they're all sending him inboxes and texts and wishing me all the best. It highlights the strength of our program, the talent within our program and in the state.
The girls team starts its season a week earlier than the boys. They're taking on GWS at UTAS Stadium this weekend. Coach Jodie Clifford will unleash a team suited to the big ground.
It'll be the first time the Devils girls have ever played on UTAS Stadium, so just making sure that we've got our runners and some of those girls that are really strong in that area.
13 debutantes will line up in round one and captains will be revealed on the eve of the game.
Good evening. Another warm autumn day today. Hobart reached 25, Launceston 24, 20 the top for Devonport, Burnie 23. Ouse top 26, 25 at St Helens, Flinders Island, Smithton and Maria Island all reached 22, 19 for King Island and for Strawn. Patchy cloud over the south today with extensive high-level cloud moving across the state. Thunderstorms over parts of New South Wales, Queensland and the top end. Areas of cloud over southern Victoria and Tasmania. The rest of the country remains relatively cloud-free. Tomorrow, a cold front will cross the state in the morning and some weak troughs lie over northern WA, the tropical parts of Queensland and the Northern Territory. Northwesterly winds of 20 to 30 knots reaching up to 35 about the west, in the south up to 40 knots. Swells building to 6 metres in the west and south from late morning. A gale wind warning for the southwest and southeast coast tomorrow. Strong winds for remaining coastal waters and the Channel and southwest lakes. Windy in Hobart tomorrow with a shower or two. Cygnet 20, a shower or two and 21 for New Norfolk. A shower or two and 24 for Launceston and Campbelltown. Some showers also for Devonport, becoming windy and a top of 23. Burnie showers and 21, 18 the top for Strawn, showers in Smithton. A shower or two developing in St Helens, Swansea 24, some showers also for Fingal, 23 the top. The UV will remain at high 7s. Showers for the west and far south on Friday, fine elsewhere. More showers on Saturday, mainly about the west and north, easing in the evening. And the wet weather will continue in the west and south on Sunday before extending to the east. Sunny and mostly fine conditions for much of the mainland tomorrow. Melbourne 28, 35 in Sydney, a possible shower for Perth and Cairns. Right now in Hobart 19, Launceston partly cloudy and 18, Devonport also 18 and Kim, plenty of wind around tomorrow, so make sure you watch out.
And that wraps up tonight's bulletin. Thanks for your company. Have a great night.